Hello, I pressed record this time.
Yay.
Betsy and I were about 10 minutes into our conversation here, and I realized that I didn't press record. So, welcome to episode three, um, episode four. It's so good to see you, my team over here. Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, Betsy. I apologize for not pressing record, but we're just going to get to know each other a little bit better now.
No, it's better
Um,
because that way we had like a little practice run and now
Yeah, practice run. That's right. I'm not as well versed at doing the podcast interviews as you are, so that was a good. Now it's like four and a half, episode four and a half. So you and I met through Sub 2 a long time ago.
yeah.
Even though we have met a long time ago, we really haven't spoken a lot with each other. So here's the things I know about you real quick to kind of catch the people up. I know you have two kids, an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. I know they're eating you out of house and home right now. And you're worried about what the teenage years are going to bring, but you are prepared for it. Um,
Changing my
tell,
language in a lot of ways, actually. Like,
yeah.
say I'm not good with numbers. And I'm just like, I'm in business. I have to be good with numbers. So
Mhm.
I'm saying I'm good with numbers.
Yeah. This is one thing that I've learned in our short conversations so far is that your mindset shifting and the way you look at things is very powerful. Um, can you just re-explain, unfortunately, like what kind of yeah, what kind of keeps you going on a day-to-day? I mean, outside of the 11-year-old and the 9-year-old and being a full-time mom in that regards, like what keeps you busy on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it's all of the business, right? The business is building partnerships everywhere. Like it can be deals, it could be lending, it could be just anything really. Building those partnerships is really key and bringing value to those people. So, a few things that I do is that I acquire properties and I try to acquire them creatively so that my all in costs at the beginning are rather low. And I bring in somebody else. I don't use my own funds. I use somebody else's funds to be able to do that. A lot of people are like, why would you do that? Why would you share? And I tell them, why not? Why not share? Right. I'm going to get a property that I acquired, creatively, and we're going to be cash flowing. And I do not mind sharing the income with somebody else because they helped me get there. Right.
Mhm.
And another way that I'm acquiring properties is that I am buying land creatively too. So we got a property. My sellers are amazing. They're also real estate investors. And the first conversation that I had with them was at a networking event. And they told me that, we did the whole exchange of what do you need? What do I need? How can we help each other? And they told me they had some land and we negotiated from there. It's an amazing deal. I got an amazing deal creatively.
Mhm.
And now we're going to develop with it. My husband thankfully has experience doing builds and stuff like that. He's done commercial builds, tiny
Okay.
homes, and they've done single family homes, of course. So it's kind of something that we're just like, okay, like now that you've been like doing the work all the time for somebody else, it's kind of time for you to start doing the work for yourself.
Mm.
Even though, we kind of want to move on from that, that's just like in the interim, that's where we are right now. Because in the future, we see ourselves as being multifamily um, developers. We want to develop
Okay.
new multifamily homes for affordable housing. So it's like that's the goal, but this is the middle part. This is how we're going to get there.
Mm.
Um, if you guys want to be part of that dream, just let me know. I am happy to talk to you guys and just see how we could work together. And then also, I'm bringing people who have funds and they don't really know how to use them or want to invest, but they're like, it's risky, or I don't really know how to invest, or just like everything, right? There's so many people that have their funds in retirement accounts, or they have it in CDs, or they have it under their mattress, and it's not really doing anything for you, or not much. And investing in real estate real estate we've seen as a huge catalyst for making really great returns that's secured by a physical asset. Like it's amazing. It's the for me, I mean, I can preach about it. For me personally, it's the best thing you can do.
Hmm.
I totally believe in it 100%. I've seen it happen. Continue to see it happen. Just you just have to find those people that are trustworthy and they want to build a relationship with you. It's more than just a transaction, it's a relationship. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to lead with every time I talk to somebody, that it's a relationship based. I don't want it to be just a transaction. If it's just a transaction, then you might be on my back, like, hey, when is this project going to be done? Or how is this project? Like, we want to be able to build it together and build that trust. So, yeah. And
Love it.
then so that's kind of what I'm doing. It's a lot, but they are all correlating with each other. So sometimes, I don't get the best deals, right? So I will partner up with somebody else who does have a good deal and just look for the funding for them. And then I'll be like the middle person, or I'll be part of the deal. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it's like it's all together and it's a lot of things, but it really brings a lot of value and a lot of knowledge and a lot of learning.
Yeah, I can imagine in a short amount of time, you've condensed a lot of knowledge into your brain there. You started talking about private money or, just lenders and stuff, and it's pretty amazing how far you've come. I think it may be a little over a year at this point, if
Yep. Yeah, I
that.
think you were one of the first people that I met in sub two that's kind of local here to Georgia.
Mhm.
And it's just it's really amazing. I still want to give you that shout out
Thank you.
for being able, like you still connected with me afterwards. You gave me a call and it just felt really supportive just to know like, hey, there's other people kind of looking out too. I know that you're also looking for deals and you're also looking for something. So I know that if I find what you're looking for, I know you're like fresh in my mind. And I think that's really important to keep those relationships going. And also, that's vital for what I do. Um,
Exactly, yeah.
but yeah, it's the power of partnerships have really um helped me go faster in my career in real estate. And I really preach about it. I'm like, this is the way to go, you guys.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, I see you posting in the sub two group all the time about things you're doing, even just like mindset stuff that you're working on and you're shifting. I wanted to ask you, because it hasn't been that long since you joined Sub 2, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had no real estate really experience coming in, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Um, actually joined some too because I heard Pace talking about the zero, getting a house with no money. And I thought it was impossible. I really honestly thought like everybody like this is not real. Like this cannot be real. But I believed it and I was like, you know what? Let's do sub two. I didn't even have the money for sub two. I had to go and look for it.
Wow.
And I'm almost done paying it off, honestly. But I paid it off myself and just using what I've been learning. And I mean, it's amazing to be able to network with other people who are local and maybe not even local to me. It's given me that access to people and network and partnerships. It's
Yeah.
so cool. I believe everybody can do it. You just have to want it bad and be consistent
Yeah.
and yeah, just keep going.
Consistency is such a key. I mean, it goes in a lot of different aspects of life, but for sure in business, like if you can just do something every single day, 6 months, 6, 12 months, you're going to be a completely changed person, completely changed life. I
Yeah.
know you have a somewhat unique experience coming in and being able to grow to where you are right now. If you could like give one piece of advice to Betsy a year ago, or somebody just coming in right now, like is there is there a way that you were able to flip the switch on being able to have these kinds of conversations with people? For me, like sometimes I feel like, what value am I bringing this other person? Like, how did you go about kind of navigating those waters?
Yeah, I think it's a whole mindset shift. Mindset shift. it's really hard to when I came into let me go back when I came into real estate and we started talking about buying property subject to or seller finance, the first thing people say, like, you're getting a ridiculous deal, you're like stealing that house from that person. And I understand that view. I think that you can totally get it. But if you feel like you're getting your house stolen from, then you are not the ideal seller to be selling your house creatively. Like, don't do it.
Yeah,
People who are selling their houses creatively is because they are in dire need and they have that pain. Um, so like really, really it's being very intentional about what you're doing and how you're going about it. No, the people who are trying to buy your house creatively are not trying to take your house away from you. Most of them actually want to help. They want to see like, hey, if I know that you can't sell your house at market price right now, and you might have to come out of pocket if you do that. So I want to help you. And that's just one scenario. There's some millions of scenarios.
yeah,
That's why I love creative because you can get really creative with any sort of strategy just to be so that we can help, right? And sometimes that does mean not giving any money to the seller, but that also might mean you'll have good credit
right.
or have good standing on the bank. So you can, like in a year or two, you will be able to get another property.
Yeah,
But it's just different, right? And that's something that I also took into lending because you can also like be creative with lending your funds. I don't want to get too deep into it because it has to do a lot with like financial strategies, but there's a lot of ways that you can also be creative with it. And just always, I feel like always learn something that you said at first is what would I tell Betzy a year ago? Um, it's actually something that I've been thinking a lot about lately is not something I would tell myself a year ago. It's something I would tell myself 10 years, like 5 or 10 years ago would be just find what you love, find what you like to do and do that and focus all your time on that. Don't try to wear all the hats and just focus on what you love to do now and get to your life goal that way. Like if you see yourself like going on all these vacations and staying at all these properties or just having a good lifestyle for your family, like say, how am I going to get there? What are my steps that I can do right now so that I can get there? And that looks different for everybody. It doesn't have to look the same for me as it will for you.
right.
It can look different and that's okay. And some
Yeah,
of us may take longer than others too. And that's also okay. So just giving yourself grace and knowing those steps of like you're here, but it's okay. It's okay that you're here right now.
I love that. And that's the second time you mentioned giving yourself grace.
Yeah.
At least in this episode, maybe. I don't know if in the previous non-recorded version. Um,
That's
I appreciate that. I think where we're at now, we can definitely reach back in time and thinking of ourselves 6, 12 months ago, 3 years ago, there's somebody there right now that's that really is going to appreciate the few things that you said there, and it's going to just open their eyes up to the world of being an entrepreneur and taking stock in the things that they value right now and figuring out what they can do today to continue, keeping those things that they hold valuable. And like you said, your journey is totally different than mine. And even though we're both working in the real estate space, we're doing things a lot differently because your value system and my value system are just different. They're not connected. And what you want is totally different than what I want in some respects. And so it's okay to be looking at each other for help and advice and aspirations, but also just keeping in your mind like, hey, what Betsy's doing is great for Betzy, and I want her to succeed in that, but that might not be the right, path for me.
yeah.
Um, it's difficult in subto and just the internet in general as we see all these people doing these things and you're like, oh, I want to fly in a jet. Oh, I want
The
to go to
comparison game. Yeah,
yeah, like compare and despair, right? But I have a couple just like one's a little bit more fun, and then we've already kind of touched on a little bit, but if you had one like life lesson, which feel free to just expand on what you've already said, but if you have something different, I'd love to hear it as well. If you have one like life lesson that just pops out into your mind, like what did you learn and how did you kind of learn it?
Yeah, I think it would be it's okay to fail.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think as a mom and like someone who really tries to do everything correctly, it's hard to accept that not everything's gonna turn out perfectly. And just giving yourself that grace, like we mentioned,
Yeah.
that it's okay. It's gonna be okay if you don't succeed at it 100%. And also surrounding yourself with people who want to be where you're at, where you want to be in life. So, you know, there's people out there that have the same lifestyle that I want to live, or they are doing things that I want to do. And those are the people that I kind of want to like attract and be part of their lives so that I can also see what they did and like not compare, but be able to say, okay, this worked for you. This seems like it might work for me too.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the thing. That's why I started my own podcast, so the entrepreneur one, because I want to learn how to be able to manage everything well.
Mm. So you've created a podcast that is designed to help you grow.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. See, there's another like life lesson right there. The being okay to fail is a big one. Especially from like a sales perspective. We're always, well, we're not always, but when you start out, at least you're afraid to hear no's, you're afraid to get hung up on. But just knowing that every failure, every burnt cookie is a step towards a perfect cookie, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I put that one in the oven for 22 minutes. Maybe I should only do 20 minutes next time. So you're
Yeah.
like being okay with just taking the processes, taking the steps to success, and knowing that along the way you're going to stumble and you're going to scrape your knee and
Yeah.
things like that. That's all it's.
And I know people for y'all listening, sometimes you're like, well, yeah, I've heard that a million times. Like, I don't want to hear it again, or
Yeah.
yeah, but like I don't like it when that happens to me. Just know that we all feel that way.
Mhm.
We all feel that way too. We
Yeah.
do feel like I hate when I fail. Yes. But also giving yourself the grace to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Send your emotions if you need to, but then like move on. Like I needed a day last week
Mhm.
personally. I was feeling really down. I had overwhelming thoughts, and it was just like a lot. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the day. I can't be the person I need to be. And if I just keep going, so I'm just gonna do what I need to do and buy my kids McDonald's today. It's just gonna be that kind of day. And that's what it was. But the next day I woke up and I was like, I don't want to do it. I want to have another day, but I gave myself a day already. Like I did it. So
Yeah.
now today is a fresh day. We start over. We are gonna continue going and we're gonna be successful. So back to the dream.
I love it. I love it. There's this just that grace keeps coming up again.
Yeah.
Um,
It's really important.
well,
Vital.
I want to ask you something here. And it's a little subjective because the word exciting means something different to you than it does to me, just like a lot of things. But what's the most exciting thing that you've done lately, Betsy?
The most exciting thing, I have to put it with business. That land deal that I got, really, I mean, those sellers are my friends. I can call them up now. And they are really amazing people. I don't know them super well, but like from what I have talked to them and stalked them on social media, they are like really great people. And I just want to be working with more people like that.
Nice.
Exciting. I'm excited to start this new venture with my partner in life, my husband. I always believe, he can do so much. He's like my hero. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm really excited to see him grow in that.
Nice.
And I know that we will find discouragements and there will be times where it's going to be a little bit difficult, but we're ready. Our relationship is ready for that. And very excited about that new venture.
Mm,
And especially because it has like a clear goal in mind. Like I have the vision of how we're going to be building affordable multifamily properties. Like that's the goal. I really want to do that. That's what I'm going to be doing in the future. But this is my step one. This is
mm,
like my toes dipped in the pool. Like this is how I'm going to start. And I know there's a lot of people who will say, like, why don't you just do it right now? Why you can buy land right now that and you can start constructing, like building it up. And I'm like, yes, I can. And I do have partnerships set up for that. So I am ready, but I kind of want to do this on my own and I want to see how this on my own
yeah, yeah.
and see how it feels before I jump into something bigger, even though I am looking for like land creatively, especially if it's like not zoned commercial, that takes a couple months, so I'm okay with that. But I'm a believer and I believe God puts me in situations for our growth. So right now this is where I'm at. This is where God has me. The opportunities, the doors open, the doors that he opens for me are opportunities and doors that open at the right time. So I don't want something that's not going to be beneficial for me if God doesn't open the door for it first.
Mm. I love that. It's grace and godliness.
Yes, that's been the theme
Yeah.
here actually.
Well,
My
I
church, my church that I found it like last year, and we love that church. And the name of the church is Grace,
Mhm.
specifically Grace Lanier because of where we are located. They're like the Grace family of churches, and I just thought it was like a play on words because we found it. It was like a prayer answered when we went to that church that we had prayed for years coming in. So
Really.
yeah, it was like amazing to see like God check mark all our like our difficult list that we were just like, okay, God, like you don't have to like do all of these, but these are
Yeah.
important ones. But he literally checked out all of them when we went to that church, and it was just amazing. And yeah, the church's name is Grace, coincidentally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah,
That's
it was really cool. It's been a whole community thing and just like finding your village. It's been really cool. I know that God just works in mysterious ways, and it's really cool to see the fruits of that.
mm. I love hearing you say that. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more, Betsy. I know there's still, I mean, we could talk for hours and I could barely scratch the surface with you, but um this is just a little taste for everybody out there. If you want to get in touch with Betsy, talk, you know, parenting and being an entrepreneur, talk lending money, talk real estate deals if you have deals to bring to her, how do we get in touch with you? I mean, I know how. How do other
My
people?
number. I
Yeah.
don't give out my number
No.
honestly,
Yeah.
unless we have a relationship. But yes, I have a website. It's just betsyrodas.com, or you can find me on the socials. It's at underscore Betsy Rodas, BetzyRodas. And you can just look up my name on Facebook. I will try to answer everything. I try to answer everything. It might take me a day, maybe, depending on it. Some days are really busy with the kids.
Yeah.
But yes, I will try to do my best to get in touch with you and connect with you and see how we can help each other build wealth together. That's my thing right now, like building wealth together.
Hmm.
Definitely super important. But yes, relationship first, you guys. Don't just come into the messages saying, I need money. I've had those messages and they're a little frustrating. So
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
like, I
it.
need to know, I need more information.
Yeah. Pro tip is be a friend first.
Hmm.
There. Yeah, reach out first. Well, it's been a pleasure, Betsy. I look forward to what we're going to be a year from now and 5 years from now. And we're going to continue to grow together. And hopefully some new people are going to come into your sphere from this. And we're going to grow together with them as well. So
Yes,
it's been a pleasure. We'll talk again soon.
thank you. Pleasure.
Later.